Welcome to the Stand Like Men podcast. I'm Logan Ingram.
I'm Daniel Schallenberg.
We are here to learn what it looks like to live out a biblically masculine life. And we have conversations over scripture, over current events, and even over questions that you guys send in to us. So y'all can find us on all the social medias. We're all of the podcast channels or web pages, whatever you call them. I don't even know what to call them.
Streaming service?
Oh, a streaming service. There you go. And you can also, well, that was I even took over your whole thing, too.
That's okay. I had stopped paying attention.
Again.
We're glad you're here, everybody.
It's a cluster.
We're coming up to the end of the year.
Maybe that's what it is.
We just need a break. We need some rest, and it'll be all right. We'll be good. We're glad that you're here. Speaking of end of the year, I wore a blessing shirt for you all.
I see that.
It's a bear with Christmas lights all over it, and it says, "May your Christmas be bearable."
I like it.
Yeah. And I mean that. I hope your Christmas is bearable, Logan.
Oh, it's going to be.
Good.
Yeah. It's going to be bearable.
That's good. You doing anything special for the holidays?
No, we're staying here.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
We do Thanksgiving at the in-laws in Texas and then Christmas here normally.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just being around here.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
We're going to Arizona.
Arizona. Yeah. Sweet. Where at?
Lake Havasu, which is like right on the border of Arizona and California.
Oh, okay.
The Arizona side,
of it, but I don't know where it is.
They call it Lake Havasu in Arizona. In California, they call it Havasu Lake.
Oh.
It's weird.
So the line goes through the lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a ferry that you can go from Lake Havasu to Havasu Lake. But the only thing on the California side is a casino. That's it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure there's a road getting into it.
Wow.
We took that one time. We're like, I've always wanted to go to California. Let's just take a ferry and then go. And then like I can say I'm in California. And they're like, yeah. And my sister and brother-in-law, they've never been on that ferry across there. So we go across and like, it's literally just a casino and there's nothing else.
Oh,
it's like, okay, well,
fascinating.
All right, kids, that was fun. Let's get back on the boat. Okay. And then we went back across. And
when we go to Washington State, we do the ferry to, I think it's Friday Island is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. It's a good fun time for the kids. And I want to say it's a good hour and a half ferry ride.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just go to this big island in the Pacific Northwest and a bunch of shops and stuff. It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we do that anytime we go up there. We've only been like 3 times, but
yeah,
it's fun.
So I guess
day out.
I guess what we're trying to say here is this Christmas you should get on a boat.
Yeah, get on a boat.
Dear listener, get on a boat.
Go explore.
Yeah.
Get out. Get out and explore your world.
That being said, I'm not getting on that ferry again.
No,
it was nice. It was fun, but like there's
one.
nothing to do there.
Yeah.
It's literally you get there and then you turn it back around.
Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy that.
No. Okay. So we're talking about 1 Timothy chapter 3, unless you wanted to talk about boats some more.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm good.
1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 through 7. Here is a trustworthy saying, whoever aspires to be an overseer desires a noble task. Now the overseer is to be above reproach, faithful to his wife, temperate, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not given to drunkenness, not violent but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. He must manage his own family well and see that his children obey him, and he must do so in a manner worthy of full respect. If anyone does not know how to manage his own family, how can he take care of God's church? He must not be a recent convert, or he may become conceited and fall under the same judgment as the devil. He must also have a good reputation with outsiders, so that he will not fall into disgrace and into the devil's trap. So last week we talked about men need to be above reproach and talked about how it's a character thing. It's not a thing that you can achieve, but it's just who you are. And then this week we're talking about faithful to his wife, or the ESV says the husband of one wife. And I think it's worth talking about both, because I think the early translations of NIV, I think like my Bible that I grew up with, it says husband of one wife.
Yeah, that's why I've always understood it to mean.
Yeah.
Or to be written as.
Yeah.
You have one wife or you got multiple?
At the moment, just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
Have you heard that joke where your wife starts doing something and you say, "Man, you're starting to sound like my ex-wife"? This is a joke.
I have seen those. I don't know how I feel about them. On the one hand,
the joke is that they were never married before. That's what it is. That's the joke, is when you say you're starting to sound like my ex-wife, and the wife says, "I'm the only wife you've ever been married to." You say exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because on the one hand, it is funny, but on the other hand, it's kind of casts a shadow over, like, maybe there's like a hint of a whisper of a possibility that you're willing to divorce them.
Right.
Even for a joke.
And honestly, I won't say it.
Yeah.
Just because.
I wouldn't figure. I imagine Cindy would put you in your place.
Probably. She'd cut me. That's something my sister told some girl one time, is that my wife would cut her.
That's fantastic. I don't know if Kara would cut someone for me. She'd pray for him, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, she would pray while she's doing it.
Yeah, you think
she hopes that their hearts are healed.
I like
maybe not their bodies.
Lord, heal these wounds that I'm inflicting. I guess the first question, if we're discussing, I guess let's discuss husband of one wife first. If we're looking at husband of one wife, what happens if your wife dies? Are you allowed to remarry?
Yeah, and that was a question my dad brought up when my mom passed away, and he brought that up to the elders because he's an elder. He's serving as an elder in Houston, and he took it to mean one wife. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was him just worried about, he just really didn't want to be an elder anymore.
Yeah.
Or I think he was really contemplating the meaning of that at the time. And so I don't know. I don't believe that it literally means you've only ever been married one time.
Yeah.
I believe that it means that you're loyal and pure to your wife, mm-hmm. And if by, death or whatever that means too, I don't think it changes anything.
Yeah. And I think, so in the context of as an overseer and as a shepherd, my thought, I think I agree with you, where it's not that you've only ever been married one time. I think are you faithful and pure, kind of like what the current NIV is saying, is faithful to your wife. I think that's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
Because I know at least two different guys where, maybe three. I know three guys that their wife walked up to them and said, "I don't want to get married. I don't want to be married anymore. I'm out." Mm-hmm. One of them walked up and said, "Hey, I'm pregnant. It's not yours. I'm out."
Wow. And
then she's gone. Another guy, who is actually serving as a shepherd now at his congregation. He's like, I asked him, like, what happened there? He goes, "Well, I made a commitment for life, and she did not."
Yeah.
And she left me. I'm like, okay. And I think in those situations where it's hard to, I don't want to paint with too broad of a brush, but like you have to look at like the context of the situation, and how did the first marriage end? Mm-hmm. Was it a divorce or was it death? I'm starting to kind of dig myself into a hole because I'm starting to question it. No, I mean, because there are times like people have the right to make their own decision,
right?
And like women can, like in at least the guys I was just talking about, where their wife left them, and it was like they were faithful husbands, they were good husbands. But there are also as many stories as we have of that. We also have stories of the husband was mistreating them in a way that they felt like they needed to go find connection somewhere else.
Yep.
And so you have to.
Well,
please help me out here.
Well, we brought it up. There's kind of a vetting process with your, what does your name look like? How good is your name in the community, mm-hmm. and your family? And we look at the fruits of the Spirit, right? Mm-hmm. And so generally, if somebody's producing good fruits out of their life and then their wife gets up and walks off, I mean, you just got to base it off of the fruit of their life instead. Because if that happens and then you look at them and they're constantly lying or being dishonest about stuff, they stepped out on their wife, they're abusive to their kids, they act in anger all the time, well, whatever, then I don't know.
I think you resolved the hole that I dug.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Because everything kind of like what I said last week of like above reproach is kind of the umbrella that all of these fits under.
Yeah.
Like husband of one wife. Well, circumstances may have it to where you have been married to multiple wives throughout your life, not consecutively. I think that would be a problem.
Right.
But it goes back to like, was this man above reproach in these situations?
Right. And yeah, exactly. That's a great example. You just look at, is he above reproach? Well, if he did anything to cause that divorce, then yeah, I mean, then he's not above reproach, right?
Yeah.
And so there's your other qualification gone.
Yeah.
Or character trait anyway.
Characteristic.
Yep.
So husband of one wife, like I do firmly believe that you should only be married to one wife at a time.
Yes. I think the Bible's clear on that.
I think the Bible is pretty clear. And I guess to tease it out and expand a little bit more, our relationship with our spouse is supposed to mirror our relationship with Christ. And we can see that in Ephesians chapter 5 when it talks about, we can see that in Ephesians chapter 5 when it says like, husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. Wives, submit to your husband as if you're submitting to Christ. Like the relationship between us should look like the relationship that we have with Jesus. And I think, and we've talked about that in previous episodes. But because of that, like if I'm not going to be serving Christ and someone else, like Jesus is clear on that. You cannot serve two masters.
Right.
And so if I'm married to Kara, if I go and marry another woman, I'm no longer committed to Kara. I'm trying to serve.
You have two masters.
I'm trying to serve two people. Yeah. I think I dug out of that hole pretty well.
You're good.
At that point, I'm trying to serve two people.
Yes.
And like, I'm trying to like submit to two separate spouses, and that doesn't work. And so I do think it is like, you should not have multiple wives. Polygamy is not okay.
Right. Yeah. I think we need to bring up too the devotion. Being married to one wife it shows loyalty and devotion. And that's exactly what Christ showed. Right.
Yeah.
And what's our command is husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church. That's being fully committed, devoted, loyal, pure. We can't expect somebody to stand up and lead the church or their family. Our expectation for someone to lead the church would be like Christ leading the church, right?
Yeah.
And so you love your wife like Christ loved the church, then you'd also spill that over into your churchly duties, I guess, as a leader.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, so as a man of God, we're expected to live a life in such a way that people can follow us.
Yes.
And imitate us as we imitate Christ.
Yep.
As Paul says. And so when we can't do this hypocritical, do what I say, don't do what I do, and that's garbage. Because if we're up here and we're saying, hey, you should be faithful to your wife, and then I have a side hustle, I have a side family over here, like that's hypocritical, best case scenario.
Yeah, lead your wife with gentleness.
Yeah.
And kindness and love. And you don't do that. You're trying to teach other believers because, I know for a fact that especially men who are leading in the church get approached all the time to help members and people around them with marriage problems, with whatever kid problems, whatever financial, whatever it is. And how are you supposed to give advice, especially good, solid, godly advice, when you're not following it yourself.
Yeah.
I've always had a problem with that. And I think that's actually where a lot of the hypocrisy comes from, or the fear of hypocrisy from people who don't want to go to church anymore or leave the church. And because that's always the number one excuse I've ever heard. It's just a bunch of hypocrites. Well, if we're being open and honest about all of our struggles and stuff, we got to start in our family, right?
Yeah.
With our wife. If you can't communicate with your wife and work through whatever problems you have, you cannot do it anywhere else.
No.
Like I can't, or at least I can't trust you to do that.
Yeah.
It's like you have one job right there.
Yeah.
That's one person. And I understand, yes, there are people can make choices and people can be difficult and, all of that. But again, it's the fruits that come out of your life that we've got to look at and that the church is looking at, because church is watching.
Yeah.
People around you are watching. They see when you're a fraud, when you're teaching from hypocrisy. They can tell.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make a good leader. Everybody, you see it all the time, just even in social media, people calling out CEOs and different companies for whatever else. The Catholic Church gets hammered all the time.
Yeah.
For stuff like that. So it's the fruits of our life that have to show and go before us, like our character, like we talked about last time.
Yeah. Well, and talking about fruits, it's not that the fruit is the result of the character. Like you can't try to do something. It comes natural. Like an orange tree does not try to make oranges.
Right.
An apple tree does not try to make apples. It just does it. That's just what it is. It's an orange tree, so it makes oranges. If I'm a man of character, I'm going to, if I'm a godly man and with good character, my nature is going to be the fruit of the Spirit. I don't have to try to be patient with someone. I just am patient with them. I don't have to try to love someone. I just love them. It's less of a choice and more of just, it's who you are. It's natural. It's your character.
Yes.
I think that was a very nice segment.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was good.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Another piece with leading, one wife would be consistency. You handle her with consistency, and that generally creates longevity, right? In a marriage.
Yeah.
You consistently talk and you consistently work through problems with each other. And that's how we're expected to lead the church as well. Like you're not going to go and teach one thing over here and teach another thing over here. Another member comes to you and you tell them the opposite of what you told somebody else.
Yeah.
You've got to do it with consistency. And I think with watching what fruits that your life produces, you actually gain a spiritual authority that way. So I know that if I just plain black and white business, if there's a super successful businessman who I know treats everybody well, people continue to want to work with them, they have a good name in the community, they automatically have authority in my mind to teach me whatever it is I would like to learn from them.
Yeah.
And so it'd be the same thing in the church. Like you look at the fruits of their life, and how their marriage is, how their kids are, all the stuff, and then they automatically have a spiritual authority, and people will look up to them automatically just because of that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to name names, but I can think of, as you were talking, I've got a handful of men that I'm like, yep, any marriage advice I have, I'm going to talk to that guy.
Right.
And then I've got a handful of other guys that I'm like, if I'm looking for any advice, I'm not going to that guy.
Yeah.
Like he is the last person I'm going to talk to about anything.
It's kind of an assumed authority.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those guys, especially if you look in the church, they're not just hollering from the mountaintops, I'm the best at being a husband.
Yeah.
like you just, again, you see the fruits of their life. You see how they are with their spouse in public and possibly in private. You see how people react to them and how they act together and handle each other. If there's conflict, like maybe here at a Super Bowl party,
Yeah.
or a church devotional, a potluck,
Yeah.
and there's one roll left,
Yeah.
one beautiful, delicious, shiny, buttery roll.
Well, Sister Schuster roll.
Yeah,
Oh, man, those are so good.
that's it.
'Tis the season, man.
And then you and your wife both go to grab. How are you going to handle that
I'll let
in
her
front of
have it.
everybody?
Oh, yeah. The Marines I think it's Marines, have the thing they say, speaking of potlucks, this may not even make sense in this, but it's leaders eat last is how they put it. And it's like the officers and the commanders of whatever unit or whatever going through mess, they are the last people that go through. They make sure that the people that are under them, that are serving under them, make sure that they're taken care of.
Yep.
And then the leaders come in afterwards. So I am curious. It is interesting to see like the people who are always the last in line.
Mm-hmm.
And like I've seen, let me throw my pen across the room for a moment. Like there's several men that I see at church that like they start going through the line and like they have their hand on the plate and then someone walks in the door behind them. They say, "Hey, I got you a plate. Come on in."
Yeah.
I'm like, that's really kind of big of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
So I do that, wait until everybody's done eating for the most part, or making sure everybody has enough food.
Yeah.
But if I'm at somebody else's house and they're sitting there saying, "Everybody start eating," and no one will go, I'm going. I'm not just going to sit there.
That's the servant heart, because everybody's waiting on that first person.
That's right. That's
And
right.
you're just a servant.
I'm just sacrificing. I'm self-sacrificing.
You're a servant.
That's it.
But
But I think your home is a pretty powerful testing ground
yeah.
for you as a leader.
Yeah.
Not you, but for anybody as a leader, because you're dealing with, like right now, I've got a teenage boy who is quite defiant.
Yeah.
Not really in big things, but just dumb little things. And I just want to strangle him a little bit every now and then. I'm just like, are you serious? I want to hurt you right now. I love you to death, but I really want to hurt you.
Yeah.
And then of course you're dealing with whatever stresses in life come your way, and you and your spouse have to work through it.
Yeah.
And then your kids come up with stuff, just like me and Cindy were talking. We're in kind of a financial season right now where it's just tough. It's tight.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're pushing through that. And then there's a lot of worry and anxiety that comes with that. And I was just hanging at the house, just sitting there. We were talking, and I was thinking, okay, well, this financial situation is probably going to be taken care of in the next little bit. Like it'll be fine. And then I think about, well, then, it'll be taken care of possibly, and I won't have to worry about it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but that's not the end of it. The next thing is going to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we catch our kids stealing, cheating on a test? Does one of them get in a wreck?
Mm-hmm.
Does one of us and our family get sick?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a house fire? What's the next thing that's going to cause the worry and all of that? And so I wondered and have been very prayerful about it, that when those pressures come, like what comes out of me?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is a great testing ground for leaders in the church, because if they're under pressure and all of a sudden you see anger and frustration and impatience and cruelty, whatever it is, come out, they're probably not going to be a good leader.
Yeah.
But if you see kindness, goodness, patience, gentleness, all of that stuff come out of them, even when they're under that pressure, because it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
And that's just my family.
Yeah.
Like, think about expanding beyond the walls of my home and then into possibly the walls of someone else's home if they're struggling with something and I'm a deacon or elder at church. Like, I'm supposed to be there to help and support in those times, and just in our community in general,
Yeah.
I don't think it's just calling for, elders and deacons. And I think it's just literally just men trying to lead their families, lead in their communities, whatever. So it's a great testing ground.
Yeah.
And it's never ending, I believe.
Yeah.
I used to think, when you grow up, well, you're going to be an adult and you can control everything. Well, then when you get a good job, you'll have all the money in the world.
Stupid.
No financial worries. And then it's
like,
okay, well, once I lose all this weight, I'm going to be healthy again.
Why didn't anybody correct the lies?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's a big reason
thinking,
I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it at church, at the university, at other men's deals. It's the silence.
Yeah.
Is I want men to speak up.
Yeah.
And to share struggles.
Yeah.
Because it really is horrible to sit there and say you're in your family, you're struggling with marriage, struggling with kids, and no one will say anything. No one's ever told you that they did too.
Yeah.
Or no one says, man, I've gone through that, or I'm going through that as well. Let's lean on each other.
Mm-hmm.
You just feel completely alone.
Yeah. And
that's a horrible place to be.
I'm sure we should talk about that someday.
Oh, we will.
Because it's definitely there's an issue. I think it's especially in the church. I think it's the worst in the church. Yeah, we don't do confession well.
And I've had many people, family, friends, someone will get up and confess at church. Yeah. And as soon as we leave the church, they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? They shouldn't have done that. Yeah, they shouldn't put their business out there for everybody to see.
Yeah.
And I just want to scream.
Or
how has that worked for you?
Yeah. Or we're very welcoming and loving in the moment. And then once we leave the church building, we're like, oh man, those filthy sinners.
I know.
I can't believe they did that.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah. Honesty, accountability, stuff like that. And it's not just holding other people accountable. Yeah, we'll talk about it again one day.
Yeah.
I got lots to say on that.
So let's transition into, we've kind of been talking about it, but faithful to your wife. I've said this quote before. I'm misquoting it. I don't remember the actual quote, but I like it this way. When I got married, I always thought that I would protect my wife from any threat that entered the home. And then recently I realized that I am the biggest threat that entered my home.
Yep. You've brought that up before.
I have. And
I think that's a really good thought. Actually.
Because, and we've talked about it before, but it's like there are times that I'll do or say something, I'm like, I'm a threat right now. And generally Kara's very forgiving, and when I own up to it, or generally she's like, okay, this is not who he is. This is not his character. This is just a moment. He's stressed right now. But it's still something that I need to be mindful of, because that's not who I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we as men, one thing that makes us godly men is recognizing our faults and failures and shortcomings and working to correct those. Because it's not enough you like to say it is what it is, or that's just who I am. I know you hate that, to say it is what it is.
I do.
It's but that's exactly right, because if you say it is what it is, then that's
the end of it.
It's the end of it.
Yeah, there's no
growth.
Solution or growth. Yeah.
No.
That's why I don't like it.
And and you cannot be a godly man if you're just willing to, it's not even contentment, it's complacency.
That's complacency, absolutely.
Yeah. If you're just complacent and you're settling and being just who you are at the moment, it's like, come on. I don't know why, but something popped in my mind earlier in the episode. I thought it'd be good to talk about it.
Let's hear it.
Gaslighting.
Okay.
You've heard the term before.
Oh yeah.
It's become a pop culture buzzword.
It has. I've never heard it more in my life than the last 2 years.
And the word itself comes from a play where, from back in the olden days when they had gas, everything was still, there was no electricity. It was everything was candles. And in some of the higher end, fancier houses, they had pipes running, like gas pipes running to lanterns, sconces on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you could turn up the gas and turn down the gas and like light your house that way. Instead of walking around with candles, you can actually have gas piped into your house. And so there's a play set in that time period. I used to know the year, I forget now. But the play was called Gaslight, something like that. And it's basically, the story is there's a husband and wife, and for whatever reason, the wife was very rich and the husband needed her money and didn't want to, like, couldn't kill her, needed to get control of the thing. And so he devised this plan where he was going to, like, convince her that she was going crazy. And so he turned down the gas in all the house and walk around. It's like, wow, it's really bright in here. She's like, are you kidding me? It's really dark. And then a couple of days later, he'd flip it where he'd have it really bright in the house. And she's like, it's so bright in here. He goes, no, it's like really dark. And so he kept messing with the gas in the house to, like, adjust the lighting in the house. And he was constantly making her think that she was wrong. And so he was lying to her basically the whole time. And that's where we get the term gaslight.
That is fascinating.
Yeah. But nobody talks about that. We just get mad at the Gen Z kids and they're like, oh, these rotten kids, they don't know. And it's like, no, you're gaslighting us. It's like, no. It's like, actually, yeah. By definition, is a lot of what we're seeing is gaslight.
Yeah. We're looking at facts and you're telling us they're not facts, or that they're the opposite of what we think.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago with Fruit of the Loom.
Right.
Why are you trying to gaslight us, Fruit of the Loom?
Right.
What is up with this?
Yeah.
And so, but right before I started talking, I had a great example of gaslighting your wife. Not your wife, but my personal wife. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what it is. But how many times are we able to, like, convince them of something, or convince them that what we're doing is not that bad, or what they're doing is really stupid, or is not worth freaking out about?
Yeah.
How many times have you told your wife, just calm down, or just don't worry about it?
Yeah.
It's not something to worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, that's ultimately us trying to, like, fix the problem, because we as men like to fix things. But I guess
my wife looks at it like minimizing her feelings.
Yes.
Even when I try really hard to be like, give an explanation as to why we shouldn't worry about that.
Yeah.
She, instead of me saying, I understand how that's really scary. Mm-hmm. I just say, it's no big deal because of this.
Yeah.
She's like, you're minimizing how I feel about it.
In a way, it is a non-malicious gaslighting.
Yes.
And there are malicious gaslightings as well.
Absolutely.
And I think most people accuse, like, in hey, don't worry about it, or just calm down. That's a non-malicious generally.
Yeah. You're overreacting.
Have you heard of weaponized incompetence?
Yes.
Where you're like, babe, you're just so much better at doing the dishes than I am. You're so,
or you just don't do it right. You just flat out. You seen
just
that.
intentionally do it wrong every time.
That to me is ludicrous. Yeah. Like, that is so jacked up to me.
If I do it wrong enough times, I'm never going to be asked to do it again.
And I think there's people that really do that.
There are people
all the time
that do it all the time.
And I just cannot fathom doing that.
How weak do you have to be?
That's pretty bad
to do that.
Me. Yeah, especially for something like laundry.
Yeah.
Like, really, how hard is that?
Yeah. I saw a reel. It was trying to be a joke, but it's like the wife walks in, folded clothes.
Yes.
And he's like, thanks for doing 50%. She goes, 50%? Yeah, you did 50%. And she goes, I washed, I folded, I put them away. Like, I did all of the work. He goes, yeah. Well, I took them off the hanger. I wore them. I got them dirty, and I put them in the hamper.
I thought you were talking about the one where the girl comes in and the husband's like sitting there, has like a bunch of drink cups or like maybe dirty dishes on the coffee table. Mm-hmm. And she's like, clean all this up. And he goes, no. Here, this is what happens. You just leave it and you get up the next morning and it's all taken care of. And it's been her the whole time.
Yeah.
And she's like, you are the biggest idiot. And then he was like so adamant that there's a magic
fairy that does the dishes.
Comes and cleans up behind him.
Yeah. It's whenever I hear like a husband like refuses to help out around the house, I'm like, you scumbag. Like, I don't know. I go back to like, you know, when it's plumbing, it's poop flows downhill. That's rule number 1 of plumbing.
Yes.
Poop is going to go downhill.
Yeah. That phrase is used in many circumstances.
Now, with proper leadership hierarchy, poop flows uphill.
Yes.
It is supposed to be. Now, a leader will take responsibility. A boss will blame the subordinates.
Yes.
And so like as a leader, as the leader of my home, I am supposed to take the responsibility of whatever happens. Mm-hmm. And even if that is the state of the house, like I need to like, I don't know. Whenever I hear a guy is just like, I refuse to do that, or I don't do that. It's like, really? You're not willing to do that? And we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier, like I've been blowing out the gutters and all that stuff. Well, being up on top of my house, I can see all the yard and I just see my kids' stuff everywhere. Yeah. There's tools laying in the yard. There's scooters in the yard. There's paper plates from when they were cooking by themselves outside. And my first reaction is, oh, that's all their fault. And, like it's just on them. Mm-hmm. And so my wife could get mad. Look at the state of the yard and all that stuff. I said, man, that's my kid. That's the kids.
Yeah.
If they would just do right. Mm-hmm. But then while I was sitting up there, because those were my automatic thoughts, was these dadgum kids.
Yeah.
Is, well, man, what a great job I've done at teaching them.
Yeah.
And making sure they actually did it.
Yeah. Emmett is always leaving us snack bowls or plates on the couch.
Yeah. And generally it comes down to, I get sick of trying to follow up and the follow through.
Yeah.
And, but whose fault is that? Mm-hmm. That's mine. Yeah. You know, that's my responsibility. It's not hers. It's not the kids. Yeah. They're supposed to listen to me, but I'm also the leader and supposed to make sure they listen.
Yeah.
Too.
To try and bring all this back, like if you are gaslighting your wife, or if you're weaponizing your incompetence towards her or whatever, or if you're not leading your family, you're not being faithful to her. We kind of talked about like men's roles and women's roles early on. And like men and women, husbands and wives, have infinite value. Like we are both infinitely valuable and infinitely worth love and respect from God. But like we still have separate roles. We still have responsibilities, right?
Yep.
And if I'm not filling, one of my roles and responsibilities is to lead and protect my family. And if I am like not leading my family, if I'm gaslighting my wife, I've become a threat to her. If I'm weaponizing my incompetence, I'm a threat to her. If I am pursuing a relationship with another woman, I'm a threat to her. If I am looking at pornography, I'm a threat to her. Like, if I'm doing these things, even as simple as I'm not taking out the trash when I see that it's full, like I'm not being the man that God wants me to be.
Right.
And if I'm not being the man that God wants me to be, I'm not being faithful.
I think if you want to be a strong Christian leader, it starts in your home. If you're married, I believe it starts with your wife, because everything flows out of there. I mean, that's where you live. That's where you spend the night. That's where you go forth into the world from.
It's the second most important relationship in your life.
Absolutely.
God is number one, and then your wife.
And again, Jesus calls us to love our wives, or God calls us to love our wives the way Christ loved the church. That's pretty powerful, pretty large, what am I trying to say?
It's a heavy mantle.
Yes, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And it's not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the number one ways that we can do that is through communication.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot, just maybe start there. Say you're having a hard time with that right now. Try and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Try and not, without gaslighting, without pride, without all of that other stuff. You try and come at it through the fruits of the Spirit with gentleness, patience, kindness,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. There's a good chance she's going to listen, and hopefully you can reconcile and go from there. But I believe that it starts, being a good Christian leader starts with your home.
Yeah. And stop trying to win against, you're not competing with your wife. Or you're not competing against your wife. You and your wife are a team. The way you treat your wife is going to show your character. We talk about, when you're dating someone, we haven't talked about that, but people talk about when you're dating someone, you put on your best face, you put your best foot forward, and you put on this mask and presentation. That's not going to last forever. Eventually, once you get married, you're going to lose that mask, and you're going to be like who you actually are. And you need to make sure that who you actually are is a man of God. And it needs to start with it's your character.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for listening to the Staying Like Men podcast. Don't forget to be looking for characteristics and traits that you see in men that make them good leaders. Look for men in your church. Look for men at your work, in your family. Look for characteristics of godly men in the people around you, and then talk to them about that. Praise them for that. Show them respect. Show them the respect that they have earned, and then emulate that. Imitate them as they imitate Christ. And we'll see you next week.
Our verse is 1 Corinthians 16, 13, and 14.
Be watchful.
Stand firm in the faith. Act like men. Be strong.
Let all that you do be done in love.